Colombia says it will try to retrieve treasures from Holygrail of shipwrecks, which may hold cargo worth billions. I'm gonna let you know what you're about to hear. Let you know what this video, the message it pertains. I'm gonna let you know what that is right now. I'm not gonna try to spoil it for you, but at least you're gonna know what you're about to receive. I've found the location to the Holy Grail. I know where the Holy Grail is, and I can tell you, I'll tell you right where it is, and you can go get it yourself. You've seen, I'm sure you've heard of stories of people on quest to find the Holy Grail, right? I'm sure you ain't been under a rock. You know what I'm talking about, right? The Holy Grail. Well, I know where it is, and I'm going to give it to you right now. I'm going to show you where it is, and you can go grab it and get it. The Colombian government said Thursday it will try to raise objects from the 1708 shipwreck of the galleon San Jose, which is believed to contain a cargo worth billions of dollars. The 315-year-old wreck, often called the Holy Grail of shipwrecks, has been controversial because it is both an archaeological and economic treasure. Culture Minister Juan David Carrera said the first attempts will be... that's still on here. Will be made between April and May, depending on ocean conditions in the Caribbean. He pledged it would be a scientific expedition. This is an archaeological wreck, not a treasure, Correa said, following a meeting with President Gustavo Petro. This is an opportunity for us to become a country at the forefront of underwater archaeological research. Now, I'm going to read 4 verses. We stopped at Proverbs 14. We read 14. I know. I'm not going to apologize, but I know I slipped that last chapter in on you last time. I know. I guess I'm guilty as charged. But I'm going to read 15 through 19 to you, and they're short chapters. It won't take that long. And I'm going to show you where you can go unearth the Holy Grail, and it'll be yours. If you don't believe me, stay tuned. And by the time I read these 4 chapters, I'll say you're welcome. A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up displeasure. The tongue of the wise makes knowledge good, but the mouth of fools pours out foolishness. The eyes of Yahuwah are in every place, watching the evil and the good. A healing tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness in it crushes the spirit. A fool despises his father's discipline, but he who heeds reproof is clever. The household of the righteous is a great treasure, but in the income of the wrong is trouble. The lips of the wise scatter knowledge, but the heart of fools is not so. The slaughtering of the wrong ones is an abomination to Yahuwah, but the prayer of the straight is his delight. And just a side note, he's not talking about slaughtering animals. He's talking about your praise, your dedication, whatever it is you give. If whatever you give, you offer to the Most High, if it's wrong, it's an abomination. It's common sense. The way of the wrong one is an abomination to Yahuwah, but he loves him who pursues righteousness. Discipline is grievous to him who forsakes the way. He who hates reproof dies. Sheol and destruction are before Yahuwah. How much more the hearts of the sons of men? A scoffer does not love his reprover, nor does he go to the wise. A glad heart makes good a face, but by sorrow of heart the spirit is stricken. The heart of the understanding one seeks knowledge, but the mouth of fools feeds on folly. All the days of the afflicted are evil, but gladness of heart is a continual feast. Better is a little with the fear of Yahuwah than great treasure with trouble. Better is a meal of vegetables where love is than a fatted calf with hatred. Wink, wink. And that verse 17, I just want to I want to give a special shout out using verse 17 to a few people that if you read this, if you see this video and you're listening to me right now, you know who you are. I want to give you a shout out. Better is a meal of vegetables where love is than a fatted calf with hatred. A man of wrath stirs up strife, but he who is patient appeases strife. The way of a lazy one is like a hedge of thorns, but the way of the straight is a highway. A wise son makes a father glad, but a foolish man despises his mother. Folly is joy to one lacking heart, but a man of understanding walks straight. Without counsel, plans go wrong, but by great counselors they are established. A man has joy by the answer of his mouth, and how good is a word spoken in its season. The path of life is upward for the wise to turn away from Sheol below. Yahuwah tears down the house of the proud, and he sets up the boundary of the widow. Evil thoughts are an abomination to Yahuwah, but pleasant words are clean. He who is greedy for gain troubles his own house, but he who hates bribes lives. The heart of the righteous ponders how to answer, but the mouth of the wrong pours out evil. Yahuwah is far from the wrong ones, but he hears the prayer of the righteous. The light of the eyes rejoices the heart. A good report gives marrow to the bones. An ear that hears the reproof of life does well among the wise. He who ignores discipline hates himself, but he who listens to reproof gets understanding. The fear of Yahuwah is the discipline of wisdom, and before esteem is humility. To man belongs the preparations of the heart, but from Yahuwah is the answer of the tongue. All the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes, but Yahuwah weighs the spirits. Commit your works to Yahuwah, and your plans shall be established. Yahuwah has made all for his purpose, and also the wrong for the day of evil. Everyone proud in heart is an abomination to Yahuwah. Hand to hand he goes not unpunished. By loving commitment and truth, crookedness is pardoned. And in the fear of Yahuwah, one turns away from evil. When a man's ways please Yahuwah, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him. Better is a little with righteousness than a large income without right ruling. A man's heart plans his way, but Yahuwah establishes his steps. An oath is on the lips of the sovereign. In right ruling, his mouth trespasses not. Who's our sovereign? It's the Most High. It's truth. It's his mighty right hand. It's right ruling. It's justice. It's peace. It's love. Our sovereign, his mouth does not trespass the oath. It's on his lips. A right scale and balances are of Yahuwah. All the weights in the bag are his work. It is an abomination for sovereigns to commit wrongness, for a throne is established by righteousness. It's an abomination for sovereigns. I just told you who my sovereign was, and that should be who your sovereign is. Who are the world's sovereigns? It's whatever drives them, whoever sets their boundaries, whoever tells them what to do, what they live by, their creed. It's an abomination if something has convinced you to err, to go the wrong way. A throne is established by righteousness. Righteous lips are the delight of sovereigns, and they love him who speaks what is straight. The sovereign's wrath is a messenger of death, but a wise man appeases it. How do you appease the messenger of death? What do you think of? What's the first thought come to your mind when you hear messenger of death or angel of death? Passover, right? How could you appease the angel of death if you were there at that time? Could you stand outside the house and try to bargain with him and bribe him? Could you bribe the messenger of death and say, I know, I'm not going inside tonight because I got this little thing over here at so-and-so's house. So could you just, make an exception for me and overlook this, this trespass just this one time? Is that what the case was? It wasn't. The only way to appease it was to put the blood on the doorpost and do what you're told. Aye, aye, sir. That was the only way. In the light of a sovereign's face is life, and his delight is like a cloud of the latter rain. In the light of a sovereign's face is life. I just told you who our sovereign is. In the light of his face, the Most High, it says a lot of times in his word that he hides his face. And I showed you that he hid himself in the word. He's the truth, righteousness, right ruling, peace, love. When you are searching diligently through his word, his face is shining on you. And delighting in that is like a cloud of the latter rain. In the latter days, you need that latter rain, that water, that truth, to wash away the mud, the BS. How much better it is to get wisdom than gold, and to get understanding is preferable to silver. Just to back up what I just said. Your nose in the word should mean more to you than anything else. Silver and gold can't even compete with what you're searching for. And like I told you in the beginning, I'm not lying to you. I have found the Holy Grail, and I'm going to show you what it is and where it is. And when I'm done with this video, you're welcome. The highway of the straight is to turn away from evil. He who guards his life watches over his way. Before destruction comes pride, and before a fall a haughty spirit. Better to be lowly in spirit with the poor than to divide the spoil with the proud. He who acts wisely concerning the word finds good, and blessed is he who trusts in Yahuwah. The wise-hearted is called discerning, and sweetness of lips increases learning. Understanding is a fountain of life to him who has it, but the disciplining of fools is folly. The heart of the wise gives discretion to his mouth, and he increases learning to his lips. Pleasant words are like a honeycomb, sweet to the being and healing to the bones. There is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death. He who labors for himself, for his mouth drives him on. A man of Baal plots evil, and on his lips it is like a burning fire. A perverse man sends forth strife, and a whisperer separates intimate friends. Intimate friends. You mean, like, I can think of a good example, like you mean the friendship between me and my Abba, my dearest friend? Would you try to convince me not to be this close and tight with my Abba? As much word as I read, I can think of several people that I know. I mean, I can't predict the future, but my experiences would demand that I would have to say that they would more than likely tell me that I'm reading too much of the Word, that I've read it too much, that I need to do something else, that I need to think about other things. And all those things, you can find them in the category that belongs to Babylon. No doubt about it. So yeah, they whisperings to separate intimate friends. A ruthless man entices his neighbor and leads him in a way that is not good. Yeah, don't listen to Dottie, all esteem. He's crazy. Come over here. You can just do what we're doing. Winking with his eye to plot perversity, moving his lips he shall bring about evil. Yeah, like behind my back as I'm reading the Word, they're winking, like looking at the other guy like, sure, that's what it's saying. Sure. Don't listen to him. Come on over here. Gray hair is a crown of adorning. It is found in the way of righteousness. He who is patient is better than the mighty, and he who rules over his spirit than he who takes a city. Takes a city. The lot is cast into the lap, but every decision by it is from Yahuwah. The lot's cast into your lap. You don't call the shots, though. You don't decide where it is, when it is, what it is. Better is a dry piece of bread and rest with it than a house filled with slaughters of strife. A wise servant rules over a son who causes shame and shares an inheritance among the brothers. A refining pot is for silver and a furnace for gold, but Yahuwah tries the hearts. An evildoer gives heed to wicked lips. A liar gives ear to a tongue of desire. He who mocks the poor reproaches his maker. He who rejoices at calamity does not go unpunished. Children's children are the crown of old men, and the adornment of children is their fathers. Excellent speech is not fitting for a fool, much less lying lips for a noble. A bribe is a stone of favor in the eyes of its owner. Wherever he turns, he prospers. He who covers a transgression seeks love, but he who repeats a matter separates intimate friends. Reproof enters deeper into a wise man than 100 strikes on a fool. An evil one seeks only rebellion, so a cruel messenger is sent against him. Let a bereaved bear meet a man rather than a fool in his folly. You would, and like, I'll say it again. Abba means what he says what he means. He ain't lying. When you meet your folly, you would prefer meeting a extremely pissed off grizzly bear mother of some cubs that are nearby. You would prefer that. Whoever rewards evil for good, evil does not leave his house. The beginning of strife is like releasing water. Therefore, stop fighting about who's right and just go to the truth before it breaks out. He who declares the wrong right and he who condemns the righteous, both of them are in an abomination to Yahuwah. Why is this? A price in the hand of a fool to buy wisdom when there is no heart. Why is it that so many seek knowledge from the Most High when he has no intentions on putting any of it into play, into action? Why? Why do we seek to find out what things mean and to know things about things when we ain't gonna do a damn thing about nothing? Why? A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. A brother's got your back. When it comes time to handle a situation, your brother is right beside you at all times. If you were a friend of the Most High and the truth, putting it into motion, into action, that's the point. Not to just, the only reason fools seek wisdom is so they can be the one to have it, to find it. I'm not boasting that I have this, the location, identification of the Holy Grail to give to you, and you're about to get it. It's almost over. We're only going to 19, and they're short. We got 2 more. By the time we get to the end of 19, you're gonna, the identification and the location physically, and I'm not BSing you. This is the 100% true. You're gonna see the location and identification of the Holy Grail will be given to you if you want it. I'm sure there's going to be plenty who can't wait that long, another couple minutes, but who knows? A man lacking heart shakes hand in a pledge. He becomes a guarantor for his friend. A man lacking heart. A man that ain't got no intentions on doing nothing. He'll take a pledge. It's like if you've ever been searching for a mate online, like if you're Yasharal or a Hebrew Israelite or even a Christian, you go on to like those Christian dating sites because you want someone that's a Christian, or if you're Yasharal or Israelite, you want, that's what you're hoping for, to find someone that's like you, that, that'll do the things you do. And then say you meet and you're in love and everything, but he don't believe in pre-trib rapture and you believe in pre-trib rapture. Or, there's something that he does different, his belief's a little different, and you compromise. You say, well, you know what? We make passionate love. I want to cook for him. I want to go out and make the bacon for her every day and provide for her, be the man that she needs, that she's always wanted, whatever it is. You say, well, look at all that, we can work that out later. We can work whether I think that the pre-trib is the one or the post-trib or whatever the case may be. You took a bribe. You said, well, if I can keep this, if I can keep the joy from being with you and being your lady or your man and doing all these things, I guess I'll do that. A man lacking heart, because he didn't have any intentions, or she, in doing any of it anyway. So he becomes a guarantee for his friend, because he ain't going to go back on it. Because pride. That's why he's been telling us pride comes before destruction, because most people, once they pledge their what they believe to be confirmation from what the word says, once they stick that flag in the ground, they don't go back against it. Even if they come to the truth that was wrong, they stick with it because that's their story. They're sticking to it. So they become, now they're property of whoever they've made that agreement with. He who loves transgression loves strife. He who exalts his door seeks destruction. He who exalts his door. Whoever's saying, if you're building up your house in Chattanooga, Tennessee, wherever you are, and you say that's the spot, you're seeking destruction. If you say and you're preaching that that's what you're supposed to do, that you're not supposed to think about all this stuff, the kingdom, you're on your way to destruction. You're seeking it out. He who has a crooked heart finds no good, and he who has a perverse tongue falls into evil. He who brings forth a fool has a sorrow for it, and the father of a fool has no joy. A rejoicing heart causes good healing, but a stricken spirit dries the bones. One who is wrong accepts a bribe behind the back to pervert the paths of right ruling. Wisdom is before the face of the understanding one, but the eyes of a fool are on the ends of the earth. A foolish son is a grief to his father, and bitterness to her who bore him. It is also not good to punish the righteous one, to strike noble ones for straightness. He who has knowledge spares his words, and a man of understanding is cool of spirit. Even a fool keeping silence is regarded as wise, as understanding when he closes his lips. The separatist seeks his own desire. He breaks out against all sound wisdom. Now, I know there's plenty of people that might hear this. I mean, hopefully, but I'm hoping, and if they do, or that, if they hear this, there's a few people I got in mind that would say, yeah, see, you're not supposed to isolate yourself, but see, this is the problem, because the perception, it's like everyone's looking in a mirror. They've got the perception wrong. Just because it looks like it's spelt backwards in the mirror, it's actually spelt the correct direction. I'm not separating myself from my family, my father's house. No, I've come to it. I'm trying to get everyone else to. You, if you don't come, you have separated yourself because you seek your own desire. I'm not seeking my own desire. This is my desire, but it's the desire of my Father in heaven. That's why you break out against all sound wisdom. A fool does not delight in understanding, but in uncovering his own heart. Yes, sir. When a wrong one comes, scorn comes too, and with shame comes reproach. The words of a man's mouth are deep waters. The fountain of wisdom is a flowing stream. It is not good to show partiality to the wrong, or to turn aside the righteous in right ruling. A fool's lips enter into strife, and his mouth calls for blows. A fool's mouth is his ruin, and his lips are the snare of his life. The words of a slanderer are like delicacies, and they go down into the inner parts of the heart. Also, he who is slack in his work is a brother of a master destroyer. Master destroyer. The name of Yahuwah is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and are safe. Now I know, I was born at night, more than likely, but it wasn't yesterday. I know that a lot of people believe that as long as when they heard me read verse 10, they said, "Yep, see, that's all you got to do. All you got to do is just call on the name of Yahuwah and run to it, and you'll be safe." I know that's what a lot of people think. That's why I'm mentioning it right now. I'm bringing it up just to make sure it's understood that if you don't actually run to Yahuwah, but you say you do, and you say his name, and you call on his name, and you use his name as a cover to try to hide where you are and what you're doing and whose community you belong to, you ain't run to him. Doesn't matter. You're running the opposite direction. You got to go all the way, baby. When you got married, didn't you want, all of it, right? You don't want someone to propose to you and tell you, that they'll give you the world, the moon and the stars. But come to find out, that was just hogwash, and you've been suckered. And now you get to be in misery, in strife all the time because you were lied to. And You're at home a lot by yourself now. You're not spending the quality time like you thought you once were. You're not the person that proposed to you and promised you all that. They're not being completely honest with you. There's things that they're not telling you. And it all it produces is more questions, and they just go on unanswered, and you just sit there and ponder on what they're thinking about. Are they cheating on you? Or do they really love you? Are they, they're just buying their time to split and leave you high and dry? You don't want that. You want the whole thing, don't you? Yeah. The rich man's wealth is his strong city, and like a high wall in his own imagination. I can relate perfectly with this. A high wall is a good thing, and it is a high wall. This strong city I have, it's a high wall, but even in my imagination, the way I see it, because it's so marvelous in my eyes, it's impregnable. You can't overcome this wall. Only way through it is you got to come through the gate, through the door, but you got to have the key, and you're about to get it. Before destruction, the heart of a man is haughty, and before esteem is humility. He who answers a matter before he hears it, it is folly and shame to him. There you go. Anyone who's answered already, and if you've said he ain't got the Holy Grail, he don't know where it is, he don't know what he's talking about, he's lying, whatever it is, if you ain't waited and you've already made your, come up with your conclusion, what you think I'm about to tell you or show you, it's just folly and shame to you. It's too bad. But for those who have been patient and who just decided to trust the process, and because I can't read 4 chapters instantly and just shoot them into your brain like most people would like nowadays, because their attention span has been reduced to LOL and OMG. No, you gotta wait, but you're gonna be thankful you did. The spirit of a man sustains him in sickness, but who does bear a broken spirit? The heart of the understanding one gets knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeks knowledge. A man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. A man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. What kind of gift have you given the Most High, and are you given the Most High? The first to state his own case seems right until another comes and examines him. When the first time someone says, yeah, but that's not what it says. I'm staying here because of this. I do this because of this. Yeah, sounds like you explained yourself, but as soon as the truth comes, he's going to mop up with you, and he's going to prove, and it'll be all weighed out on the scale, and you can't hide it. The lot settles disputes and separates between the mighty. The lot settles disputes. Just like we've been saying, like the Most High has been telling you, this is how he weighs your heart. This is how he puts you on the scale. Do you take your lot or don't you? Those who do are mighty. Duh. It's common sense. It's as simple as 1, 2, 3, baby. A brother transgressed against is a strong city, and contentions are like the bars of a citadel. What's the bars for? It's to keep people out, right? Keep burglars out. The contentions, the whole time you're fighting, it's just leaving you outside the city. Until you are a friend and you bring your gift to him. Katie bar the door for you. A man's stomach is satisfied from the fruit of his mouth. He is satisfied with the increase of his lips. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those loving it eat its fruit. What's your tongue producing? He who has found a wife has found good and receives favor from Yahuwah. Yeah, you do. When you find a wife, but just any wife, you go get married at the courthouse to Sally that's blowed all kinds of smoke up your rear end, and 2 weeks later you realize you've made the biggest mistake of your life, and you don't know how to get out, how you're ever going to get out of this one. And she's pregnant now too. What you going to do? What are you going to do? Have you found a good wife? I know a good one, the best. The poor speaks beseechingly, but the rich answers fiercely. A man of many friends might come to ruin, but there is a loving one who sticks closer than a brother. Closer than a brother. I'm about quality. Quantity, it's the opposite of quality. Better is the poor walking in his integrity than one perverse lips who is a fool. Also, desire without knowledge is not good, and he who hurries with his feet sins. Desire without knowledge. Do you desire to be refined as gold and to make it to heaven one day? But you ain't even took the time to go research to find the knowledge about heaven, if it's real, whatever. You just taking Jimmy Swaggart's word for it? The Pope's, whoever? It's not good. And you hurry your feet. You done committed. You said, yep, that's all I got to do. I'm done. I ain't got to make that trek and bring a gift. What are you talking about? I'll do what I want to do. The foolishness of a man perverts his way, and his heart is wroth against Yahuwah. Wealth adds many friends, but the poor is separated from his friend. A false witness does not go unpunished, and he who breathes out lies does not escape. Many entreat the favor of the noble, and all are friends to him who give gifts. Yeah. Anybody who sees someone coming with a gift, they don't turn it down if it's a gift. But there's many people that are saying, without bringing a gift, saying, yeah, just give me, though, the kingdom. Just give it to me. Let me get that. I've seen a lot of people get slapped over using those words, let me get. Instead of asking for something, they say, let me get that. I've seen them get punched square in the mouth. And they ain't never brought a gift. No, I mean, duh. They ain't never done anything. But they want. They're like stray cats. You throw some food out there, and now you can't get them off the front door. Good luck. All they're going to do is shit in your yard and terrorize and scratch everything up and make a big stinking mess and not give you nothing, but they're there expecting for you to give them something. All the brothers of the poor shall hate him. How much more shall his friends go far from him? He pursues promises, they are gone. That's a promise. If you pursue promises, righteousness, the truth, your friends, quote unquote, they'll be gone. That's how you get rid of them. He who gets heart loves his own life. He who guards understanding finds good. A false witness does not go unpunished, and he who breathes out lies perishes. Luxury is not fitting for a fool, much less for a servant to rule over princes. A man's discretion makes him patient, and his adorning is to pass over a transgression. It's adorning. I mean, you can agree with that, to pass over a transgression. If there's something you've been doing that's been defeating you and you've had a hard time, you've been struggling with it, but you've overcame it now and it's behind you and you're on the right side of that whole deal. It's adorning, isn't it? Yeah. And you pass over that transgression. The sovereign's wrath is like the roaring of a lion, but his delight is like dew on the grass. A foolish son is a calamity to his father, and the contentions of a wife are a continual dripping. Yeah. You know, if you're a husband, or you've ever been one, and you just stay out a little too late with Bob, you know, out shining or drinking beer, whatever it is you're doing, and you're just gone too long, and you know you told your wife you'd be there at dinner time, whatever, you know, at night, and she never does let that go, does she? You always are going to hear about it until you fix that problem. You know, if you tell her you're going to be there to pick up the kids after school and you keep running late because you're dilly-dallying around, you ain't going to hear the end of that. She's always, and it'll always be right when you think everything's okay and she just ain't going to say nothing about it. Boom. She lays it on you. And she knows how to get right to the nerve in you, don't she? She'll have you spinning like a top, just wanting it to stop. It's continual dripping. Houses and riches are the inheritance from fathers, but an understanding wife is from Yahuwah. An understanding. Should she understand that you just, you know, the game, you know, there was a whole other quarter to watch. You know, you promised this guy named Bob that she don't even, I don't think she ever met Bob, that you'd finish and go another 9 holes with him instead of playing the 18 that you told her you were going to play, and you'd be back on time for dinner or to do whatever. You know, you're late an hour or two because of whatever. Should she be like, well, I get it. You know, he likes to golf, you know. And Bob, this guy he just met, that's probably trying to rob him or something, you know. He needs to give, you know, spread the wealth. He's got to spend time with him too, you know. No, that's not understanding. That's ignorance. And it ain't bliss. Understanding it's called for. And it comes from knowledge, from wisdom. If he's late because he's been trying to do whatever for the family, whatever, if there's a rational and a reasonable, a good explanation, yes, bring understanding. But if it's something that can persist and it's just insane, there ain't no understanding in just taking that. No. She'll understand that you love her when you're there, when you show up early and you leave. You don't leave. You don't leave late. You don't leave. She'll understand that you love her when you're wanting to spend that time with her whenever you can, when you listen to her, when you're there for her. When the proof is in the pudding, she'll understand perfectly whether you love her or not. Laziness makes one fall into a deep sleep. Don't sleep. Don't sleep. It's almost here. This reward that you've been waiting for this whole video, you're about to get it. Laziness makes one fall into a deep sleep. So wake up. An idle being suffers hunger. An idle being. What's an idle being? Someone that just ain't getting it done, right? That's just procrastinating and ain't, he's slack. Well, why is it that gods are called idols? What is the word idol? I mean, I think of two things. I think of a statue or, a god. So like someone that someone just adores, like American Idol, Or when you put your car and you're just sitting there, idling in your car, idling. What do all those idols that these people bow down to secretly, what do they produce? They produce you to stand by idling and never get on the highway towards your home. They keep you looking this way in the rearview mirror. They keep you driving backwards, not towards your destination, towards your extermination. They keep you an idle. They never let you just yank her down and low and stomp the guts out of it. They don't want that. He who guards the command guards his life. He who despises his ways dies. He who shows favor to the poor lends to Yahuwah, and he repays his deed. Discipline your son because there is expectation. Do not set your being on his destruction. One of great wrath bears punishment, for if you rescue him, you only have to do it again. Listen to counsel and accept discipline, so that you are wise in your latter end. Many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is the counsel of Yahuwah that stands. What is desirable in a man is loving commitment, and a poor man is better than a liar. I know most women wouldn't say this right now, or even men, but especially women. I know most women might not say that. They would rather have a poor man that's no doubt lovingly committed. He's there. He's down, baby. He's got you. But he ain't got much, He ain't out here trying to kiss, climb the totem pole, climb the ladder to the top, to the executive branch. Kiss everyone's ass so he can bring you all the bacon, but never be there when it matters. And a lot of women probably they're okay with that nowadays. Yeah. It's that's where the society has came to. That's what they'd rather have. Loving commitment, they don't need that. And as a matter of fact, it's so bad now that they don't even know how to react to it. They don't like it. They want something superficial. They want something. It's built on greenbacks. They build their house on some paper, little pieces of paper. You can't stand on that. It's gonna be gone. No doubt about it. The fear of Yahuwah leads to life, and he remains satisfied. He is not visited by evil. A lazy one buries his hand in a dish and does not bring it back to his mouth. You ever seen anybody do that? Just been so lazy. They can get their hand on the fork, but they just ain't got it in them to bring the food up into their mouth. I ain't never seen. But I've pictured that. I've thought that about people plenty of times. What's the dip in the dish remind you of? Where else in the word have we heard that? Judas, right? He said, one of you here is going to give me up and deliver me. And they were all saying, who is it? And Messiah said, whoever dips his hand into the dish with me, that's who. And he knew it was Judah. If you ain't got no heart and got no intentions on doing none of this knowledge that you're seeking, what are you doing it for? You're doing it for greedy gain. for you can be the one, for you can boast, whatever it is, so you can eat better, so you can pay the bills better, so you can provide for your family, whatever it is. It means nothing if you ain't bringing your hand back to your mouth and eating it, digesting it, and letting the nutrients, the vitamins and the minerals, the nutrition, the nourishment go into your bones, into your body, and replenish you. It does no good. That food ain't doing you no good. You just look like a damn fool that needs a helmet. That's what it looks like. Strike a scoffer, and the simple is made wise, and reprove one who has understanding, and he discerns knowledge. He who plunders a father chases away his mother, is a son causing shame and bringing reproach. He who plunders a father and chases away his mother is a son causing shame and bringing reproach. Cease, my son, to hear discipline, and you shall stray from the words of knowledge. A witness of Baal scorns right ruling, and the mouth of the wrong ones devours wickedness. They gobble it up. Judgments are in store for scoffers, and beatings for the backs of fools. Don't be a fool when I tell you right now what this Holy Grail is. Don't be a fool. Be of understanding. Don't stray from these words that you're about to hear. Don't plunder your father. Don't chase away your mother. Don't bring shame and reproach to the family, to the house. Don't be bullshitting, blowing smoke up anyone's rear end. Be about it. Be who you say you are. You don't have to try to prove it to us. We'll see it. We'll know who our brother, our friend is, who has our back. We'll know who to call when we need a brother, a friend, family. Why is it that the rule, the commandment from the Most High is that you can only roast meat once a year, and that's at Passover, and it's an unblemished, spotless lamb, and it can only be in Jerusalem? Why is that? Why? Why do we have to boil the meat all the other times if we eat it? And we can eat it wherever. But come Passover, why is the rule? It says you'll be cut off if you don't. And that's his word. That's per Abba's word, the mighty right hand. Take it up with him. That's what it says. And when I tell you what the Holy Grail is and where it's at, you'll understand why he made that rule. You ever wondered why he said that? Or is it like all things, you just chalk that up to just Abba being random, and that's how he likes things, and that's how it's got to be? But you really don't do it anyways. You eat Passover out in Missouri or wherever you are, all over the country, the world, people doing it. But don't think nothing about the command. They do it. They take Passover. There's so many people I've seen, and I'm happy that they quit all the paganry, the holidays, Christmas and all that, and they start celebrating the feast days, and they're trying to figure it out and everything, but they completely ignore that part of the rule that says you must be in the city, Jerusalem. You can't do it anywhere else. They don't think nothing about that. Or that's the only time you can eat the blood with the meat. Why would he if he don't want us eating blood, why does he permit it on Passover? If you're in the kingdom, you're there when it's established, living on your throne, ruling and reigning forever in unity, in that bond of perfection. What are you? You're a brother, right? You're a son or a daughter. Trustworthy, true, loyal, down to ride. That makes you family, right? What's family? Isn't it that they say blood is thicker than water, right? The Most High said that he wouldn't flood the earth again. That's why he gave us the rainbow, that covenant, that promise. He said, no, the next time he would destroy it with fire, And we all probably have a decent understanding of that means that it's going to be done for this time. There will be no more, there'll be no chance of anything slipping through the cracks when it's going to be incinerated, everything, right? And I've shown the science, and I mean, I can do it again, not right now, but if you want to go look, if you don't believe this, go prove it. The reason you got to boil the meat all the other time, it goes with the command of Abba telling you, do not eat the blood with the meat. The life of the animal is in the blood. Don't do it, he says. So you boil it and it releases. Go look. You can find these in PubMed papers, peer-reviewed doctor papers. You can find this truth. It's scientifically proven. It's a fact. The only way to get all the blood out is you have to boil it in water because it don't sear the outside. Roasting meat sears blood in. That searing, that black charred burnt stuff, that's blood. You ain't getting it off of the meat. It's there. The only way to get it out is to boil it, seethe on side, cook it in water. So why would he want us to only do it, roast it on Passover in the city? What's that represent? It sears the blood in. Why would we need to eat all the lamb on Passover? The blood represents the life. The lamb the word has to be consumed. It has to be eaten. You have to be searching through the word. You have to follow the lamb wherever he leads you to the city. What did he do with his buddies on Passover before he died? He said, take this bread. This is my body. Eat it. Take this cup, this wine. It represents my blood. If you don't drink it, you already know. Does he want you to be vampirish? No. It's symbolic. You have to eat all the lamb. That means blood and all. The Messiah, his blood was spilt in Jerusalem on Passover when it was time. Now, if you don't give up everything that's in your life now to do this, to what you're supposed to do, you're not drinking the blood. You ain't even eating the bread. You're putting your hand in the bowl and you are too lazy to pick it up and put it to your mouth. The blood is roasted, seared in on the Passover because the fire that's going to consume everyone in this world, it's going to sear in the blood in the place where he placed his name, Yerushalayim. And that Holy Grail that they're looking for, they believe that was the cup that the Messiah used to drink that wine with his friends, break bread with them. The cup is where the life, the blood goes into. The reason you've seen all these Knight Templar specials and stuff and talk about them looking for the Holy Grail, they found the Holy Grail. Yeah, if you hear these like rumors where they say, yeah, the Knights Templars, they got it, they found it, and wherever, they found it, but it ain't no actual cup. No. It is the cup you need to drink from. And that cup is you following the Lamb, putting the blood on the doorpost, eating all of the lamb, being in the house, coming down the aisle at the wedding, being there because you're family, because you're blood, you're a brother, you're a friend, intimate friend. If you ain't there, yeah, you probably had some people thinking you were intimate and you were loyal and you were actually about that life. But now that the wedding has started and you're not here, now that you aren't coming down the aisle in your white gown, we all know now that the whole time you were blowing smoke. And the reason you did that was because they hid the Holy Grail from you. They told you it was a cup, and they took so much truth, so much bread from you, and they lied to you and tickled your ear so much to your enjoyment, to your delight, that you think that was an actual cup. You think that you think that maybe there's some kind of power to having a cup like that or something, or that it's worth billions like that article we just read. The treasure's not in a ship down at the bottom of the sea. It's not in some cave somewhere in a vault. The treasure is right here in the Word, and it has been thrown onto your lap. All you got to do is eat and drink and do. The Holy Grail is you being in Jerusalem at Passover, bringing that gift of you coming, of you denying yourself and anything else, and putting down your own ambitions and desires for the team, for the family, for your brother, for your father, for your mother. A community. That's the Holy Grail. And if you ain't there, come that day, you're going to be roasted. Roasted. And you'll remember all those times that you sat and devoured all that wickedness that you thought was righteousness that got you in that mess. You ain't going to be licking your lips. You're going to be vomiting, grinding your teeth. Don't be slack. Don't be lazy. You can pick up your own fork, my baby. You got it within you. Don't take any of these words as someone attacking you. You got to get that out of your head. You have to take this reproof, this discipline as life. as a gift, as favor. Don't turn away from his word, from his mouth. Run to his word. And his word is going to tell you to run to Yerushalayim. It'll tell you right where it is. It'll tell you where you are. It'll tell you what you are, who you are. And I'm hoping that you are family, like you say you are, and that you're here at the wedding. Because if you're not, Dad's not going to be happy with you. Who would?